All right, we're just waiting for everybody to come in. I'm retweeting the room, getting it shared. I'm excited for today's call.
What's going on, party people?
It's Wax Wednesday, Lucas.
That's right. Is it Wednesday already? This week is just flying by like crazy.
It really, really is. So much has changed since last week. We have different emojis, it looks like.
Nice.
We're having a little bit of trouble pulling Tommy up. Let's see.
A troublemaker.
Okay, we tried something different. Hopefully it'll let us bring him up this time. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started while we're waiting on him to be able to come up as a speaker, and I'll just watch it below. So, with that being said, good morning and welcome to another amazing Wax Wednesday Space Call. I'm your host, Schnazzy, and soon to be joining me is our fantastic Tommy. And during today's space, we're going to go over the mysterious marketplace we've been seeing. Recently, we've had posts on Twitter talking about Wax Swag NFTs, and we got to see different listings and redeemable options for these viral t-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs. It's been really cool to see, and these are on the viral market. We've also noticed that some games are starting to have integrated listings and marketplace attributes inside of the games themselves for NFT collections like the blockchain Brawlers this week and last week. It's time to talk about this viral market. So, are you ready for round two with the legendary Lukas Luka, Wax's Chief Technology Officer? Show me those hearts below if you are, or any of the new emojis. I'm not seeing. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Facings. I appreciate you. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Tree Piece. Thank you, Rob. I love to see it.
Look
All
at all
right.
these hearts.
Isn't it wonderful? They're all excited to have you on. Well, they all
I'm
told us how
super
much they
excited.
loved you. They loved you, and we listened. So we brought you right back out from your hidey hole.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Yes, yes. So today we're going to start this off with an introduction about what viral technology is, and then we're going to dive into the viral market and what it has to offer. When Tommy comes back, he might be the one to go over things with Lucas because he spent so many hours testing the viral market, so many days, so many weeks, so many months, and he's done a fantastic job. So he has a lot of thoughts and things to share as well. So I'm really hoping that he's able to come back up as a speaker so that he and Lucas can kind of bounce what they think back and forth off of each other. There's also going to be a lot of information during this call. So if you need any additional explanations, be sure to write down your questions. And towards the end of the call, we'll invite everybody up to help cover anything that may have seemed unclear. Let's see if we got Tommy back in here. Not yet. So with that being said, it feels like just last month we had you on for the first time, Lucas, and you're already back with juicy information. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I cannot believe it's been already a month. It just blew by so quickly.
It feels like we always say that in the crypto space, time flies by, but I feel like in a bear market, it goes by even faster.
That's right.
So really, before we dig into the details of virals and what this new marketplace could mean for Max, would you mind briefly running down who you are and what you do behind Max blockchain for context for any of the new listeners in the space who may not have gotten to know you last time?
Of course. So my role as a CTO is essentially being responsible for all the engineering aspects of running Wax blockchain, but also organizational development, meaning hiring and training the team to execute on all the projects that we have going on. I also work very closely with ENF, which is a EOS Network Foundation, to make sure that WAC is represented as part of the coalition of chains that are actually working on enhancing the Antelope stack, which is essentially a rebranded EOS.io. And since WAX blockchain is a fork of Antelope, then we are very, very much interested in making sure that we continue all the enhancements in terms of the security, speed of the blockchain, finality, all that type of stuff. And finally, I also work on Toronto Studio side, which is our game development branch, where we build Web3 games that we're going to be launching on Wax blockchain. And hopefully that strategy is going to attract a lot of mass user adoption and bring new users into our ecosystem.
That was a fantastic explanation of what you do, Lucas. But I don't think it covers everything. You do so much for the Wax blockchain, and you're constantly working all hours of every single day. And we appreciate you so much. So thank you for taking some time to join us again to talk about viral NFTs and the viral market.
Thank you. This is going to be exciting. Let's talk about it.
Yes. So the Wax blockchain has the patent for the viral NFT technology. Will you tell us what is a viral NFT?
Sure. So we've been working on a portfolio of patents for the last 4 or 5 years. There's many different aspects of what virals are and tokenization of items. But at the end of the day, it's this idea of connecting a physical product or a thing in real world to its tokenized NFT that represents that object on the blockchain. So you can think of it as like a digital representation of something physical. So viral actually stands for virtual in real life object. So I think last time I talked about some use cases for NFTs, and a good use case could be that wine store that I use as an example, where today, in order to run like a wine marketplace where people are trading essentially bottles of wine or collecting bottles of wine, that business model is very difficult because there's a lot of shipping that has to be done. You have to authenticate these bottles of wines, you have to appraise them. And every time a transaction happens on such marketplace, then that bottle of wine has to leave the warehouse. It has to be shipped, and if that user then wants to resell it, it has to be shipped back again and reappraised and all that stuff. Well, imagine if, as opposed to doing that, you appraise and authenticate a bottle of wine once. So you store it in a vault in the warehouse, and then you issue an NFT, and then you trade that NFT. Instead of buying and selling that bottle of wine. So multiple users can trade just the NFT, and then the bottle would leave the warehouse only if someone decides to redeem that item. So essentially, a viral is an NFT tied to a utility in the real world. I hope I explained that correctly.
I think you did. And I love that allusion to the wine bottles. And I told one of my aunts actually about how you described viral NFTs using that analogy to wine sales, because she sells bourbon. And one thing that really stood out to her in the whole explanation process of what NFTs are and what they can mean for viral technology, she really liked the idea of mint numbers and associating mint numbers to different parts of the barrel that the actual bottles of bourbon came from. So like the first mint number would be from the top of the barrel, where the 20th would be towards the bottom. And I thought that was a really cool way to utilize it too. So there are a lot of different aspects whenever you're thinking of inventory and in real life merchandise whenever it comes to viral NFTs. So thank you, Lucas.
No worries, for sure. And there are other applications as well. I mean, an NFT could represent not only a physical object but also a digital object, right? So you could use NFTs as tickets, right? So tickets to a show, and then ownership of that NFT could unlock additional services like you know, some sort of access backstage, or you know, free popcorn or whatever, right? So we are starting to see companies to innovate in that space as well. I think Ticketmaster, Live Nation, you know, those guys are definitely starting to look at NFTs as that, you know, value add to a digital ticket. So we'll see what's going to develop in that space. It's very interesting application on NFT technology.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about viral NFTs specifically, what are some other examples that you think the virtual and real life aspect could help solve in the modern day world?
Sure. You know, the moment you start representing a physical item like a car or a TV, or you know, just something that you can buy from a store by an NFT, you know, you're unlocking a whole bunch of other functionality, right? So you're decoupling essentially ownership from possession, right? So um, imagine, you know, I buy a car, and then I represent it as an NFT, and maybe that's a collectible, right? And that car is you know, stored somewhere in a warehouse. It's a showpiece or whatever. You know, that NFT could be also traded, right? So I could be buying, selling those NFTs without really moving that object, or taking physical possession. So that's a key concept for me. So we'll see what's going to happen. But because NFTs are also, you know, it's a piece of code that exists on blockchain. There could be a whole bunch of different attributes associated with. Well, those are kind of like a mini compute machines. So there could be additional logic associated with owning an NFT that could unlock some sort of geolocation type of functionality, right? So if you're an NFT owner, and let's say you walk into some sort of geofenced area, then that NFT can unlock access or unlock certain privileges, or access to, you know, services, right? So all that stuff is being developed. So over the next couple of years, we'll see where the industry goes.
I love the idea about what people are going to use geocoding for with NFTs. I think that's going to be a really fun, a really neat use case for NFTs. And I hadn't even thought about them using that until you just brought it up. So this is already teaching me so much. And I love having these conversations with you because they really do. They spark a different type of innovation in me.
Yeah,
So,
the gaming world is gonna I think be revolutionized by this technology, and this is also a reason why we as a team, you know, we're taking a bet, right? We're making a bet in terms of how do we grow Wax ecosystem, how do we bring blockchain technology to the mass market, and attract users who are not necessarily crypto savvy or technically savvy. You know, and you know, there are many different paths to get there, I think. But we as a team said, you know, hey, we think that games and high quality entertainment, you know, is something that could be that lever that allows us to, you know, extend our community to people who have not necessarily used blockchain before, right? So that's why we are pushing into games, and when it comes to games, you know, we've talked about it before, where you can start representing your in-game items as NFTs. That opens up obvious things like you know, being able to trade these items on the marketplaces, but also because they are NFTs, you know, you could associate some sort of geotagging with those items, and you know, there could be use cases where these NFTs could be, you know, discovered in the real world, right? What was that game, Pokemon Go or whatever? I mean, all these use cases could be applied here as well.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm just imagining blockchain brawlers in a Pokemon Go scenario where you're brawling in action in live
Yeah,
events.
I mean, you could you could unlock that's a use case, right? So you could, for example, have PvP matches where you need to be in the same area where the other owner is, right? So you could then use that to promote certain places or promote certain locations, right? So imagine a whole bunch of Scotties sitting in a park, right, having PvP matches, right, because that area unlocks something, right? So that could be pretty interesting.
That would be really cool to see. I hope that happens. I hope we work on that. Or maybe we already are and I'm just too low to
I'll
know.
I'll I'll talk to I'll talk to Michael about it. I don't think we have really thought about adding geotagging to blockchain brawlers yet, but it's a use case that we could explore for sure.
There's definitely some interesting scenarios where that can be used. And I love the idea about the geocaching. There's a lot of people locally in my area that actually do a gamified version of it where they hide bits of puzzles and then they find the bits of puzzles and then it's like a giant treasure hunt. And I think that's really fun. And like you said, NFTs are a great use case for this type of environment and this type of interaction too. And making it gamified within a game that's already existing in a digital space and bringing it to the real life space, I think is just that extra bit of interaction and engagement that we really want to see. There hasn't been a lot of, and this might be a controversial thing to say, but I don't think that there's been that much innovation when it comes to interacting with games over the past 10 years. And I think this is it. This is the innovation that's happened. This is the next step in gaming, like you've said. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. I know that on the viral market, aside from just viral NFTs as something that's an amazing utility on the marketplace itself, we have another one directly related to games, which is called the deferred settlement listings. Would you maybe want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. And that's a mouthful, and that's more of like a working name. That's how we coined it on the engineering side. But the whole genesis behind Viral Market was to essentially um, build a platform that then we can reuse in the games that we are building, right? So essentially, Viral Market. The way we're going to be enhancing it is that we want Viral Market to be embeddable in other applications and especially games, right? So if you're a game developer and you want to power marketplace functionality within your game experience, then we'll be essentially allowing for that to happen. We're working on APIs, and at some point we're gonna release a widget that allows a game developer to kind of very easily embed viral marketplace within their game. And as part of that, right, there's this problem of um, if I am playing a game and I'm using my items, right, to do whatever, right, that these items are designed to do inside the game. Well, in order for me to create a listing on the marketplace, then I have to physically essentially withdraw those items that I want to sell from the game and essentially either and various different marketplaces have different mechanics for this, but at minimum you have to keep those items that are on sale in your wallet, right? You can no longer use them in the game. And sometimes some marketplaces require you to actually deposit the items that you're selling into their escrow smart contract, right? So you don't even possess these items even in your wallet anymore. They're now actually within the marketplace. So that creates a problem, right? Because as a gamer, um, you know, I want to be using these items in game because they may take a long time to sell, right? So what we try to do is we try to come up with the kind of like an engineering pattern or blueprint that would allow us to still use the items, the NFTs within the game, but at the same time be able to create a listing on the marketplace, right? So and there's a whole bunch of complexities there that each game would have to solve when integrating with the system, because at the end of the day, we call it behind the scenes kind of like this auto retrieve system, which essentially gives Viral Marketplace permission to at the time when someone says, "Hey, I'm going to actually buy that item," right? Then that's when that deferred settlement happens, right? Because as opposed to immediate settlement, deferred settlement means that, okay, there's a buyer, fantastic. Now, as a marketplace, I have to have a way to then go and get that item out of the game, out of the user's account, right? And that item could be, it may require some healing, right? So, for example, in blockchain brawlers, when you're brawling with a brawler, right, they may lose health, right? So then the Viral Marketplace has to know that, okay, I need to heal that item before I can actually withdraw it from the game and complete the settlement and get the funds from the buyer and in exchange for that NFT. So there's a whole bunch of complexities there that we're trying to solve and systematize. So then there are APIs and ways for games in the future to integrate with Viral Marketplace so they can take advantage of that deferred settlement listing functionality.
I am so excited about this. So it basically means that if you have to stake your NFT somewhere to play a game or put your NFT in a different account in order to access it in the play to own environment, you can actually still list it on the marketplace as you're playing with it. And this is what they're trying to solve in the viral market listings. And I think that is such an awesome forward step in this ecosystem, because it really is. When I was playing blockchain brawlers, that was one of the things that I really wanted, and I know a lot of other people wanted to, especially as things fluctuate, and this is so cool.
Yeah, and another thing that's important that we're working on is we want to allow the settlements to actually happen using the in-game currency, right? So an experiment that we are running right now is you may notice if you play blockchain brawlers, you can actually purchase things for Brawl, right? As opposed to XP, right? So we want to build an ecosystem that can facilitate the marketplace functionality, but also allows for game developer and their tokens to kind of plug into that ecosystem and potentially become the settlement currency for transactions, which also helps the game and potentially drives that in-game economy better, right? And then being able to purchase items from within that embedded marketplace also means that we need to make some changes on the Viral Marketplace side to essentially allow in-game user balance, right, to be available for transactions, right? Today, in order to purchase something, you have to actually withdraw your Brawl from the game into your wallet and then make a purchase, right? And that's inefficient because typically, games have withdrawal fees and all that stuff. We want to reduce friction and make sure that the transactions, so listing your items through the deferred settlement listing mechanism, but also purchasing items, is as frictionless as possible, while also enhancing and being an additive function to the in-game economy. So we hope that the way we are organizing these features will essentially help game developers or Web3 application developers to add a very cool marketplace, embedded marketplace functionality into their ecosystem.
I think it's going to be so awesome, especially whenever you guys get it going to where more games are able to utilize this as well, and whenever you are able to finish it with blockchain brawlers, because I think this is the next revolution of the space for sure. And I saw Tommy was able to make it back up. Hey, Tommy.
Hey guys, sorry for the rug. Looks like there's something wrong with my account, so I spun up a new one really quick. Thanks for inviting me up. Sorry for the headache.
No worries. What's going on, Tommy?
Nothing, just excited. Just listen to you talk about the viral marketplace right now. It's been a lot of fun this week supporting it, so looking for
yeah, I mean, we're getting close. I still consider that that platform beta.
Yep.
You know, I'm working with our marketplace team every day to you know, flush out all the kinks, but you know, there's still a lot of features that that I want us to add, and it seems like, you know, the list keeps growing. So we're adding faster to the list than we're able to actually crank out the development, which is a challenge. But I'm sure at some point it'll be super awesome.
Yeah, 100%. It's been really fun to watch it kind of take shape over the time that I've had the exposure to it, and I'm especially excited. I think you were just talking about the deferred, or the I think it was the play to own sale. I think we're calling it right now, the deferred settlement listings. So it's I think that's really exciting too.
Yeah. So the play to own sale type is essentially this deferred settlement listing, which uses this mechanism that allows someone to, you know, still use the NFT in the game while the listing is up on the marketplace. Exactly right.
Cool. Okay, so and then I know that you mentioned this, and Snazzy, thanks for bringing me up. Sorry for the rug pull at the beginning. I know you mentioned that we are still in beta and we're still developing and stuff like that. What can we see next on the viral marketplace?
Right. So I think there are just some basics that are still very much missing. Right. So I mean, Wax has a very, very mature marketplace ecosystem.
Yeah.
With you know, Atomic Market being the king of the hill, and there's a whole bunch of other marketplaces. They're kind of leveraging that technology as well, and then they all kick ass. So at minimum, you know, we need to make sure that we provide some level of parity of features that allow users to discover and find deals. Right. At the end of the day, you know, a marketplace is a tool that allows someone to run their NFT business, right? Whatever, right. Whether they are collecting or whether they're, you know, buying, selling for profit. So, you know, focusing on that is very, very important. In addition to obviously, you know, leaning hard into these features for games. But like I said, at minimum, you know, improve discover ability for NFTs, finding deals. You know, we are thinking about features like, you know, I'll give you an example. Setting a watch list, right? Because and saying, hey, I like this NFT, or I like this NFT type, right? And I would like to buy one if the price hits certain point, right? And then that happening automatically, right? So you don't have to check every day or whatever. Or also, you know, being able to find NFTs that are maybe priced lower and discover deals this way, or discover new collections based on, you know, trade volume and all that stuff. So I think my focus when I talk to our product team is, you know, discoverability is a huge huge portion of it. There are also features that you would find on normal marketplaces today that we just kind of take for granted, right? If I go to shop on Amazon, what I see, right, my view is very, very much tailored based on my behavior, right? If there are certain products that I buy, there are certain products that I look at, then Amazon knows that, their recommendation engine kicks in. They're like, oh, this guy likes this. How about I try to present these other products because they're similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So building in essentially, fancy word, behavioral analytics into the marketplace is going to be very important. That's why we have our data engineering team that is building things like data lakes and ingestion pipelines and processing or whatever, because we want to make sure that when you go to viral marketplace, your experience is tailored towards what you are interested in, right? So those are the type of features that we're going to be rolling out over time.
I am really excited. When you mentioned Amazon, it like really clicked, because I know there's a lot of some people really love virals. Some people love play and own NFTs. Some people just love art. And I think tailoring and kind of showing like a recommended is really exciting. Just from either side, it's exciting for me. I want to spend as much time looking for the next game. It'll kind of already be serving something I might be interested in. That's really cool.
Yeah, this is a theme that I personally start really pushing our engineering team towards, both on the Wax Cloud Wallet and Viral Marketplace side, because when I think about Wax Cloud Wallet, it's a utility to perform certain functions,
Mm-hmm.
but I think next phase in wallet engineering and development is going to be adding, other features like discoverability. If I would love to one day go to Wax Cloud Wallet, and based on the transactions that I do, it should allow me to browse and discover other applications that I may be interested in. Right? If I play Alien Worlds, then it should recommend or at least show me dApps that are similar, right?
Yeah.
And that should happen, obviously, for the Wax ecosystem. But as our cloud wallet becomes multi-chain, we want to do the same thing for other chains, right? So a user playing a play-to-own game on Solana, when they log into a cloud wallet, right? Once we roll it out, let's say on Solana, they should be able to see, there are the other games over here in Wax ecosystem that I could try, and we want to remove the friction for them to be able to do so, right?
Right.
Because now the wallet is going to be work multi-chain. It's going to be one ecosystem. We're going to allow bridging. So now a user from one blockchain can discover other games or other applications on Wax, for example, and very easily start playing or utilizing those as well, right? So we essentially want to remove all that friction between these different ecosystems that are kind of walled off from each other, right?
Right. Yeah, I think bridge is a very hot topic, and the bridges that we've been building are going to be very useful, especially for something like this, just giving owners of assets true like freedom to move stuff around where they want, go seamlessly from blockchain to blockchain. I think that's really excited. I'm really excited for that as well. Let me jump around a little bit. Let me come back now. We've talked about the viral market a little bit. Let's talk about a little bit about like the type of experience that our team has behind marketplaces and digital item transactions, if you mind.
So, I mean, we used to operate Opskins, which arguably was one of the most successful digital trading, digital item trading platforms, right? The problem there was that you know, there was no blockchain. It was all really based on Steam system that was very centralized, and
right.
you know, what we saw was that one day they decided that they really don't like these third-party marketplaces, and they changed the rules how these Steam items could move around, and you know, that essentially killed off the utility of the marketplace, right? So but the team that we have at the table is the team that really you know, built the Opskins back in the day, and you know, arguably they have been thought leaders in digital items space for a very long time.
Yeah, I think with the knowledge that from running with something that's so successful, it can be very easy just to translate it right over. And it kind of, from what I remember back then when Steam was closing accounts, when you traded out, just using some websites, Steam would try to lock up your stuff. And that's one of the big things that made me look towards blockchain and having true ownership of NFTs, because no one can tell you when or where you can trade your stuff. And I think this marketplace, our cloud wallet, the bridges, everything is all kind of leaning towards that or going towards that goal.
Well, I think we need to recognize one thing here is that Wax community and Wax ecosystem is always very, very leaning forward, right?
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, we've experimented and moved on to different type of utility for NFTs way before any of that stuff was done on Ethereum or some other blockchains, right? So I actually look at our ecosystem as almost like a petri dish and lab of what could come in the future, and you know, the you know, PVPs, for example, PFPs, and you know, just collecting NFTs or trading them for profit. You know, that's been a thing until the crypto crash on Ethereum, right? OpenSea and Rarible and all these other guys, right? But you know, that ecosystem is just now starting to think about additional utilities for NFTs, like memberships or ticketing or whatever, right? For us, I mean, we've gone through arguably multiple different iterations of utility, right? Because we did what Ethereum is doing today. We did that 2 years ago, right? Then we developed you know, more complicated drops with unboxing and news, right? And you could then have a crafting engine where you can combine NFTs, right? And then from that emerged DeFi-esque utilization of NFTs, and that's kind of gave birth to play to earn games, which are now transitioning to more like a play to own model, right? So so there's a lot of innovation happening on Wax, and you know, the viral marketplace and all these other tools that we're building, it's all designed for our ability to expose Wax ecosystem to other communities, other blockchain communities, and then try to essentially showcase what's happening on Wax, so we can bring those users over. So you know, the games, the viral marketplace, the Wax Cloud wallet, all these things are kind of, they have to all work together in order to achieve that goal, right?
So you mentioned bringing new users over. Like, what was the goal for the onboarding experience for new users to blockchain tech? What does that kind of look like? What is how will we utilize the marketplace to really drive a new user acquisition or new user participation, I should say, on blockchain tech?
Right. So viral marketplace is also going to be a multi-blockchain marketplace. So if I were to like fast forward to the point where I'm like done with everything, viral marketplace should essentially show inventory and allow that discoverability to a user across multiple blockchains, right? So whether that's Solana or Polygon or Ethereum or Wax, you should be able to, very easily find the stuff that interests you. The viral marketplace should provide you recommendations and make your experience more tailored towards your behavior and the things that you like. And then working together with Wax Cloud Wallet, it should allow very easy onboarding and then movement of assets between different ecosystems, right? So it shouldn't be rocket science to be able to own something on Solana or own something on Wax and then use it in a game that's actually running on Ethereum, right? So I think the future is definitely multi-blockchain. There's going to be different ecosystems that specialize in various different things. There's massive amount of competition, obviously, between the blockchains. They want to attract as many users as they can and build on top of that, right, to create the ecosystem. But arguably, Wax is one of the most successful projects out there because, we have millions and millions of NFTs that have been minted and are being minted. There are thousands of dApps, and we have very, very high number of users that use the blockchain every day, and that's just the testament to the third-party developers, people within the ecosystem that want to make it better and grow, and we want to support that. The tools that we are building are going to be they're going to be enhancing Web3 application developers' ability to build cool things. But at the same time, we want to provide a kind of like a highway to other ecosystems as well. So that's very important.
Hell yeah. That's really, really exciting. I think you kind of touched on making it easy. You said it's not rocket science. And I agree. Sometimes when looking at some of these transactions, especially if you're new, and I'm thinking about when I was first getting back into it, looking at Ethereum and trying to figure certain things out can be very intimidating, especially if you're not necessarily tech.
Usability is problem number one, right? So what Wax Cloud Wallet is doing today is improving massively the user experience when it comes to creating an account and then executing transactions and interacting with Web3 applications. And that has to be solved in all the different ecosystems, and that is not an easy problem to solve because blockchain has its own native cryptography associated with your accounts. Executing transaction typically requires you signing something, right? Signing a transaction. A cloud wallet makes it easier without a signing. So the user experience becomes more like Web 2. But I think that any, and I'm talking about not only Web3 applications, but I think any ecosystem. So I'm looking at Wax blockchain. We need to always think about, how do I reach the users that are Web2 users, right? How do I build, whether that's a marketplace, whether that's a game, whether that's whatever application you're building, will a user that is used to, Uber experience or Airbnb experience or Amazon shopping experience, would they come and use that app, right? Or would they get frustrated, right? And be like, what the hell is this? I need to go through all these 10 steps. I don't understand anything. What's happening? What is this key? What is this signing? What is this, right?
Yeah.
The goal needs to be, create account in literally two, 3 clicks, and then interact with the application in a way that's not any different than let's say Web 2. And other blockchains are going to have massive problems, specifically because of transaction finalities. And I'm going to geek out a little bit, but we are working on finality numbers, and finality is essentially a time the blockchain requires to confirm a transaction, to confirm a block, so it's no longer reversible, right? Because forks may happen. There's many different reasons why a fork on the blockchain would happen, and if the fork happens, then it's a natural defense mechanism to essentially for the blockchain to revert some of the transaction, right? So finality is very important for Web3 application developer, because if you have a very long finality, then you need to build logic that accounts for what happens to user experience if a fork happens, right? If a certain transaction gets reversed.
Right.
Our finality right now on Wax blockchain is about 3 minutes to achieve full finality, but we are working with ENF on something we call instant finality, where your transaction will be irreversible within seconds, right? So now you can actually build user applications that are very, very close, and it's much easier to build them to today Web 2 experience. On Ethereum, for example, full finality is achieved after 15 minutes. So imagine you're a Web3 developer on Ethereum. How do you build stuff, right? It's hard, because if you want to build a game and then you need to have some stuff happen on the blockchain. It's you need to think about use cases. What happens if the transaction's reversed? If the fork happens? A lot of applications like exchanges, for example, they wait, right? Funds are not available. You gotta wait until 15-20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a good user experience.
Yeah. No one likes to wait, is what I've learned.
That's right. I want
no
my
one likes to wait
Lambo
for
now.
anything. Exactly. Yeah. All right. So this will be the last question I have before I take it back to Snazzy, so we can invite some questions from the audience. So this one's gonna be about viral NFTs specifically. Like, if I were to purchase a viral NFT from Viral Marketplace, what would the redemption process look like?
Right. So typically that NFT has a redemption attribute. So when you look at that NFT, there's a redemption link, and then it's very easy, right? Like you link out to the site that actually facilitates the redemption. And depending on what the item is, it could be, I have to provide my shipping address, or I need to provide my email if it's a digital item, and some sort of a code needs to be emailed, right?
Right.
But redemption, you have really 2 different types of redemptions. You've got physical redemption, where something is shipped to you, or versus digital redemption, which is a code that we would email, right? And typically a redeemable NFT would have a link for redemption. And on the viral marketplace, we're going to be adding features. So we're actually talking about having a view where you can only see redeemable items, right?
Oh,
So that way you can kind of filter very quickly into true virals, right?
right.
So that way, yes, you have everything. You can see all NFTs, but then very quickly, if you want to just focus on discovering, redeemable items, then one click and you get this viral only view. And then you can search, sort, whatever you need to do to find something, right? So again, going back to discoverability, so making it much easier for user to find stuff that they are looking for, they're curious about.
That's really exciting. That's really awesome. It sounds like there's like a theme, and it's ease of use, ease of usability, make things easy. And I love that we are really trying to push the envelope to try and make things convenient and easier for everyone. And I'm excited to see where we go next.
Yeah, and final note here is, discoverability does not stop with NFTs and Web3 applications, right?
Okay.
The discoverability also includes community development, community building, right? So being able to connect users who trade similar items, or connect users who play same application through viral marketplace or through wallet, right? Where you almost have like a social feed of activity of your friends, right? Or social feed of activity of items that you like, right? The concepts that are, well established through social media today, through Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, applying essentially those concepts now to Web3 applications, especially to our wallet and the marketplace, is going to enhance yet again the discoverability, and not only because of me being able to find NFT or Web3 game or Web3 application, but also, find other people like me who share my interests that maybe I want to talk to via chat system or connect in some way, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be really where our focus is going to be. And I know, like myself, I think about all these usability use cases all the time, and I always ask myself what if questions, right? Like, what if, if I was this type of a user, what would make my time spent within Waxcloud Wallet worthwhile, right?
Okay.
Because I don't want to build just utilities, right? But at the end of the day, Waxcloud Wallet is a utility to have an account and sign transaction, right? And then Viral Marketplace is a utility to essentially buy and sell NFT, right?
Mhm.
But what if I enhance that utility with more, like I said, community engagement, adding communication channels so people can organize themselves into communities. They can share stuff with each other, collaborate. I think that's the next step. That's the next level where we'll see a lot of wallets and a lot of ecosystems go to. And we gotta also push in that space.
I am so excited for that. I had no idea we were going in that direction, just because I'm only involved on the Twitter side of things, and really the social verbal spaces a lot. So that is extremely cool. I know that a lot of the community has been talking a lot about what happens if Twitter goes down, or what happens if Discord goes down. And I think that having some sort of social interaction on chain is a great way to still maintain repertoire with everybody who you've made contacts with, all of the people who you love's art or creations or games. you'll be able to still talk to them. And I think that is exactly where I want to see this go as well. I'm really looking forward to learning more about the social features.
There are actually a lot of on-chain protocols that are innovating right now. There are some projects that are trying to build a 100% decentralized chat system and protocols. I personally think that we're probably 5 years away before something viable that can actually scale becomes available. So I think a lot of these solutions are going to be, using Web 2 kind of married with Web 3. So it's going to be almost like a hybrid model in order to do this at scale. Every time I hear about someone trying to do chat on chain, I have like a flashbacks to my back when I was at Grindr, and we had millions of users online at the same time. There's not a single blockchain in the world today that can withstand that sort of rate of transactions, right? But that will come, and in the meantime, we'll apply some good old tried and true Web 2 technologies to the space.
I am ready for it. I always say that I think the next wave of blockchain technology, as far as like the art goes, is going to follow in suit with the way that traditional internet went, where blog posts started becoming really popular. As soon as people who are heavily involved in blogging and Web 2 realize that they can leave a legacy on the blockchain in Web 3 with their attributes, they can literally write whatever they want and it'll be there on the blockchain. I think that we're going to see a huge wave of users enter the blockchain space just to leave their mark. And I'm kind of excited to see what that's going to look like. And I think that that's going to have impact into what you're talking about having these forum type of situations.
I hope so as well. I mean, I'm pushing our product guys to start engaging with our community more, and since we're all here, I might say it as well, right? We want to hear from the community. What type of features would they like to see in the wallet or the Viral Marketplace or in our game? Would they want to have chat? Would they want to have a social feed or ability to interact with other users, right? Or post tweet-like messages that are then routed through some channels and could be discovered, right? This is a next wave of innovation, and we do need feedback from people who are actually in the thick of things and using these products every day.
And with that being said, if anybody wants to come up and maybe give Lukas a question or talk about something that you've thought of that you would want to see integrated into the Wax blockchain or the ecosystem of blockchain technology in general, send that request and we'll get you up here. We don't have too much longer, but we would love to hear from our audience. And as we're waiting for some of those requests to come in, Lukas, I did have a question for you that was kind of off topic, but still on topic with viral technology. I know that we pride ourselves as the Wax blockchain for being very environmentally aware, carbon neutral, most of the time carbon negative. What do you see the impact of on the environment with viral technology? How will viral tech help reduce waste?
Oh, I was struggling with my mute button there. Okay. I think that I'm going to go back to my my wine example and the viral. If implemented correctly, these viral NFTs, because they decouple possession from ownership, right? They can massively reduce waste associated with shipping, right? Shipping product, because like in my wine example, right? If I'm only interested in ownership, not possession, because I'm a collector, right? Then that bottle of wine never has to leave the warehouse, and it could be traded and could have multiple owners without the waste of shipping that stuff all over the place. So NFTs that carbon offsets NFTs on chain that could be used to essentially offset carbon footprint as well.
Thank you so much for answering my question, Lucas. If we have anybody who wants to ask a question, feel free, because I think this is going to be my last question for Lucas before we wrap things up if nobody comes up. All right. Do you think that there will be a shift in what blockchain technology is used for in the next coming months?
It's a very broad question. I think that blockchain as a technology still is its infancy, and there are some applications that blockchain is very good for, and there are some applications that it's not. Right? We need to remember that blockchain is, at the end of the day, a public serial database. It's great for solving use cases like true ownership of an item, but it may not be the best technology to, let's say, run a chat application like we talked about, right? Because of the fact that chats typically should be private, and if you have a blockchain running chat application and storing chats on the blockchain itself, then that information is publicly available. It will probably be encrypted, but encryption can be broken, right? So I think that there's still a lot of innovation in the space, but we are seeing some applications of blockchain in supply chain to be able to have provability of delivery and management of the supply chain network. There are some applications where documents and processes like purchasing a home where you have to go through some sort of a title company or escrow company. Escrow could be handled by smart contracts and blockchain. So definitely there's going to be some innovation there. When that's going to happen, I'm not sure. Right now, I think that everyone is focusing on use cases that have some sort of more immediate return on investment, and that's pretty much fungible and non-fungible tokens. But I'm sure there's other applications for blockchain that they're maybe not as obvious to everyone right now, but it could also be used for those as well.
Well, thank you so much, Lucas. I know that Lisa had come on during your explanation. So Lisa, if you had a question, now is a great time to ask.
Sure, thanks. First of all, I'm super excited. I'm sure a lot of people are, because Redeem is a big topic. A lot of people are working on it and trying it and and talking to people who are working on building versions of it. And so it's going to be great to have it, and looking forward to it. But also I'm curious, since you mentioned their patents, what are the patents for? And since so many people are doing different things right now, is there any chance that any of those are going to violate it? Or is there anything we should be looking out for? Or how are you going to use the patent part of it?
For sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of that information is essentially in that patent pending state. Our patent portfolio that we are working on has probably, I want to say, I don't want to exaggerate, but we're talking about anywhere from 500 to 1,000 different claims, right? So a big part of my work is also working with our patent attorneys and essentially develop that portfolio, working with their experts and their lawyers to make sure that we kind of think about all these different use cases within the space of blockchain and item tokenization. and you know, we'll see. I mean, over the next, I want to say probably year, we're going to see a lot of these be actually granted, to go from that patent pending to actually granted phase. And then the decision will be made next year, depending on which ones are actually granted and which ones are not. Then we can start having conversations about, you know, how and if these should be enforced, right? So, you know, I think it's too early to say exactly how, as Wax blockchain, we're going to be utilizing those, but you know, once we have a better understanding in terms of what's been granted or not, then we can have a better strategy to start enforcing those. And typically, you know, my thinking in this space is that, you know, patents are really a tool that should allow you to nudge companies to make decisions that benefit Wax blockchain, Wax ecosystem, right? So if someone is doing something that we have a patent for, but let's say they are on Ethereum, then we could say, hey, you know, what you're doing is actually infringing a patent, but you know, we're willing to work with you, you know, as long as you conduct this business on Wax blockchain, then you're fine, right? Or maybe there's going to be some sort of a licensing fee to some of these technologies in the future. But like I said, this is still fairly early. You know, believing or not, you know, developing a patent portfolio takes years and years, right? I mean, I personally have been working on this now for close to 5 years. And we're gonna to start seeing the resolution for our earliest applications next year.
All right. I think that about wraps up our time today. Lukas, this has really been a pleasure again to have you back on the show and finally kind of get a layout of all the hard work that's been going on behind the scenes in the background with the viral marketplace, and also the innovation that's been coming along with it. I love that we were able to kind of see your views and share some kind of your ideas on where the space will be going next as well. With that, I want to thank everyone who showed up to attend below. Thank you for coming to join. You are the reason we keep coming out and are inspired to hold these spaces. Thank you, Lisa, for coming up with your question. And then again, I just want to say again, thank you, Lukas. I know you are very, very busy, and for you to take the time out of your schedule to share your perspective on the viral NFTs, the first settlement listings, and other features, and all the stuff that's going to be bringing the blockchain ecosystem just on the forefront. Thank you for taking your time today.
Thank you, guys. This has been awesome. Let's keep doing it. Let's do one, next month. Let's do it.
Let's totally down. I'm down. I'll definitely show up for that. So thank you. Yeah, these conversations are my favorites because as much as I might be on the inside or might know this or that, but what we're doing, when I get to talk to you and pick your brain, I always learn more. So thank you very much. We also get to see transformation of our technology unfolding here in these spaces. So again, thank you everyone for joining. You're all wonderful. I hope you have a great rest of your Wax Wednesday, and I hope that Twitter doesn't rug anybody for the rest of the day. Good luck with the Twitter.
Good luck.
Thanks,
have a great
guys.
night.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Everyone have a great Wax Wednesday. Goodbye.